So, freedom of speech is being debated quite a bit over the past couple of days, especially since Musk purchased Twitter. There's a lot of dialogue going on about freedom of speech, what it actually means, even. So, I'm going to go over something from the field of counseling, but also something from ancient philosophy, just so we can maybe get a different or even a more solid concept of what we mean by freedom of speech and its relevance in society. So today, one of the most widely used counseling methods is cognitive behavioral therapy. And there's a technique within that called Socratic questioning. That method basically is how the ancient philosopher Socrates, he went about discovering knowledge, and he went about it through revealing error in thinking lots of times. He basically wanted people to explain how they came up with their beliefs. So that's Socratic questioning. Today, the technique is recognized as helping clients define problems, identify the impact of their beliefs and thoughts, and to examine the meaning of events. So, in short, the practice of examining ideas and determining validity of those ideas is done because beliefs impact people's feelings, and that also impacts people's behaviors. Socrates once said, "I know you won't believe me, but the highest form of human excellence is to question oneself and others." Now, Socrates was alive 2,500 years ago, and today we're using his method to help people in counseling. 2,500 years ago, he was sentenced to death basically for asking questions, asking people to justify their beliefs. I think the formal claim was he was corrupting the youth. So either way, it's basically from asking questions, bringing in additional information, or even asking for additional information. So in other words, he asked people how they know what they know, and found out that most people couldn't justify their beliefs. So another fundamental part is clearly defining concepts. Oftentimes we get in debates with people, and two people can be using the same word but have different meanings of that word or different concepts of that word. A few of them today might be something like racism or bigotry. That's some concepts that or words people use to where there may be very different connotations of those words from one person to the next. So detailing what people actually mean by the words they use, that's a big part of Socratic questioning also. So that seems minor if you think about it. And he was sentenced to death over that. But the truth is, think about this a little more deeply. If we examine ideas and beliefs, the more we can find that not all claims are as solid as they're made out to be. So Socratic questioning is actually suppressed a lot right now through censorship. So the other side of the equation is hidden, statistics are hidden, certain factors are withheld, even certain groups of people are withheld from saying certain things or asking questions. So it produces a mainstream sense of a justified belief, but it's based on partial information. This is what was going on during Socrates' time. He would say that basically is a lack of knowledge, not being able to have all the information and not being able to justify claims. So today, people seem offended when people ask questions or they think they're being belittled. And in fact, some people take it as a serious insult when their position is questioned. So you can think about why Socrates was such an annoyance during his time, because he questioned the story, the narrative, the identity of a culture. He questioned the fundamental assumptions of those beliefs. So that's what's occurring today, though, in social media. Um, Hard questions get removed. People who ask hard questions get banned. I'm going to give one example of it right quick. And I've been doing videos lately on slavery and racism, things like that. And I put a comment on TikTok that black people owned other black people in early America. Now, why would I say that? Because every time slavery is mentioned, the white race is mentioned, and it's mentioned in terms of racism. So the point was, from my comment, that the institution of slavery, if other black people own black people, slavery itself is not an institution of racism, but of the vulnerable being controlled by elites or powerful or people who had money. Either way, my comment was removed. And think about this. Lots of people mention white people owning black slaves in America. Those comments are widespread and all over it. All I did was mention that black people own other black people. My comment was removed. This basically helps create a one-sided story. If you omit information, you're able to make a story look a certain way all the time. And having all the information can change perception or beliefs about certain things. Just like CBT, though, think about this. It's used to help people come to terms with things of how they really are or how they've really been. And in a social system, people's assumptions create beliefs. That shapes our culture. And that's also the basis for social policy. So, the elites and even the mainstream ideology, they don't want to be challenged. Just like people didn't want to be challenged in Socrates' times 2,500 years ago. So, you tell me, why freedom of speech on social media and the education system for that matter, why is it crucial for protecting and preserving liberty and justice? Why is free speech, why is it crucial for protecting and preserving liberty and justice? Look forward to hearing some comments.